everybody. Hello from Make It So HQ. Welcome to Tea with Fee, and we are live at 5. And this is Make It So HQ, and Make It So HQ has had a little bit of a makeover. So I might show you around later. I haven't decided. I'm not sure if it's tidy enough. Not that it's not tidy, but because I've got stuff here to show, I feel like it's not going to show it at its best. So I might take some pictures instead. We'll see. I might forget I've said that by the end and just show you around anyway. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for being here today. It's Friday. It is the 21st of July. How is it the 21st of July? That is terrifying. I've got myself a nice cup of tea and I'm going to just catch up with you on what's been happening this week. And I know I say it every week, but how is it Friday already? It's crazy. It's been a busy week at Make It So HQ. Sewing lessons have come back to normal. So we are Tuesday afternoons 4 to 6. We had a full house, which was lovely. We had Christine, Kaz and Laura, and they are working on various things. So Christine is on the graduation bag, which I happen to have one here. So here is Nikki's graduation bag, which looks fabulous. And if I just unzip it, you can see all the lovely. She's got a Harry Potter thing going on. How nice does that look? So that's Nikki's version. Christine is making one at the minute in chicken fabric, which is fabulous. So she's making that, and Kaz and Laura are both making. It's great that I have all these things to hand. Kaz and Laura are making this from their membership boxes from last month or the month before. So they're coming along really well. I'll leave this out because I'll get to that in a minute. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I was at Joyce's. I was also at Joyce's on Monday. So sewing actually started on Monday this week. So Joyce's on Monday, sewing lessons on Tuesday, Joyce's again on Wednesday. Thursday is my busy day, as you know. So we had Nikki, Charlotte and Alwyn on Thursday morning. Nikki is making the Tilda makeup bag in more Harry Potter fabric. Bit of a theme going on there. And Alwyn's making a table runner. So she's making a Christmas table runner. And this is Nikki's Christmas table runner that she finished last week. It is amazing. I'll put some pictures on. And Charlotte is making a pinafore dress. Hang on. So Charlotte is making one of these pinafore dresses in this really gorgeous fabric. I must try and find out from her where she got it from, or at least get a picture of it that I can share with you, but it looks fabulous. So they're working on those, and then Crafternoon Tea was Thursday afternoon, which I didn't attend, although I did get some cross stitch done in the afternoon. Wait till you see how this is going. Dun, dun, dun. It's looking good. Haven't picked it up for a while. But look at that. Literally just got to do this and it's finished. So that's coming on along nicely. Then in the evening, for Thursday evening, we had no Wendy. So Wendy, we missed you. I did have Fran and Lynn. And Lynn's making some really cute pajamas out of this Lewis and Irene flannel forest scene fabric, which is beautiful. And Fran is making, she's almost finished the sewing machine cover. Dun, dun, dun. This is Nikki's in really cute camper van fabric. So nice. Really well sewn this. Fran's making one of those, so she's working her way through the Sew Like a Pro program at the minute. and she's just finished this. She's just going to hand sew the binding for an invisible finish. So she's going to do that at home, and then she's started working on another Christmas table runner. So we're all about Christmas in the shed at the minute. Christmas in July is a big thing, and it's definitely been a big thing in the shed this July. And then that led me on to Friday morning, which is today. So I had Lynn back again for a second session because we were trying to cut out 4 sets of pyjama bottoms. Now, here is the first top tip of the day. We're not quite sure on the size of the fabric that Lynn bought. So it's loose in iodine, and it's this gorgeous brushed cotton / flannel. So it's lovely. The pattern wanted 44-inch wide fabric, which is kind of standard, okay? And that was the impression that Lynn had when she bought it, that it was 44 inches wide. Anyway, when she washed it, dried it, and we measured it, it was only 40 inches wide, which meant that the pattern pieces wouldn't fit on the actual, the fabric wouldn't fit on the folded fabric. So we ended up with, we got the pieces out, so I'll get to the punchline. It all worked out well in the end. But what happened was, we ended up having to sort of pick and mix which pieces to put on which fabric, to try and get all the pieces to fit. So we got there in the end. However, if she had only been making one pair and had only bought the amount required on the pattern, she wouldn't have had enough once the fabric had been washed. So she's going to give that feedback back to the shop, because she didn't measure the width of the fabric before she started, we're not quite sure how much it shrunk. And obviously, well, it might not be obvious. However, fabric does shrink when you wash it, which is why you should pre-wash it before you go to use it to cut out any of your pattern pieces. So that's top tip. Definitely wash it beforehand. And in this case, there wasn't enough. We got it to work, but there wouldn't have been enough if she'd just have bought enough for the one pair. But anyway, we got there in the end. She came back today to finish off cutting them out, because it was a little bit of a kind of Jenga thing going on, or a Tetris game, to try and get all the pieces to fit in place. And some pieces had to be upside down because you needed like mirror images to make the pyjama bottom. So you had a left leg and a right leg. So we had, whilst that was kind of fresh in our minds, because we only had one piece per size, we wanted to get them all cut out and ready to go. So they are cut out and ready to sew. So that was really good. And Portia is making the scrap bag, which is this. Again, Portia is working through the Sew Like a Pro program, and this is the scrap bag. Now, the scrap bag is basically you interfacing, you do binding, and we make like these little belt loopy things, and that's so that you can actually wrap it round the sewing machine and it hangs off the sewing machine. Or there's one that goes the opposite way, so that you can actually put the strap through that and then it will hang off the table, so that you can put your scraps in it and sort of brush them off the table. So it's got like a multifunction thing going on, and it doubles up as a little bag to put the pedal for your sewing machine in if you've got a standard machine. So it's kind of like multifunctional. So she was working on that today, and we had Christine, who's making several bags. She's making the same pattern with lots of different bags. Sorry, same pattern, lots of different fabric. And she's got a bit of a production line going on, so I think she's making 5 of them, and she's just getting them all to the same stage and then doing the next bit and then continuing like that. So that's working really well, and lots of progress was made by everybody this week, which was fantastic. So I showed you how the cross stitch is going. Let me show you how the quilt's going. So check out this bag. How nice is this? Lovely. It's actually sold or marketed as a sewing machine bag, but if you are a crafter of the knitting, crocheting or quilting variety, this would be ideal for a big project because of how much stuff you can get in it. So this quilt fits in here and there's room to spare. So let me move my cup of tea before I spill it. So this is getting hand quilted at the minute. So I don't know if you can see. So I'm literally just running stitch round each square. My theme is that it matches the centre square. And I'm using all 6 strands of thread, so that's a bit of a nightmare to thread the needle. I've broke quite a few needle threaders as well. And I'm just going to do that for them all. And then what, I haven't decided yet, but when we get to that stage, the plan, I think, is I've left the back long enough to be able to bind the front with the back. And then my plan is I'm then going to pick a colour and then just run and stitch it down so that it kind of ties in with all of this. So I'm really pleased with how that's coming along. I've done almost 3 short strips of flowers, and I think there are 12 altogether. So I've done maybe a quarter of it, but it's coming along really nicely and it's just quite nice to sew. But what I have decided is, you learn these things as you go, don't you? So to sew one square is quite faffy. So if I demonstrate, right, so if I've got this on my knee like this and I want to sew 1 row, I then need to manoeuvre the whole thing round to do the next row, and then manoeuvre it all round again and do that 4 times till I've finished 1 square. So my plan is I'm going to do possibly 3 rows at a time. So I'm going to sew this strip and then this strip and then this strip. So I'll have 3 threads on the go at the one time. I'll sew them all in that direction, and then I will then turn it once, and then I will sew, then I'll sew 1, 2, 3, and then I'll turn it again like so, and then I'll sew 1, 1, 2, 3, and that way I'm not having to twist it each time. So that's my plan. It's working so well so far because I kind of sort of accidentally ended up doing that with the ones that I'm just about to finish. So I kind of thought actually that works quite well, so I'm just going to keep that going to avoid especially if I'm in the van doing it, because it's quite big and it's not that big a space to maneuver it in. I've also decided, now this may change, but at this moment in time I'm going to keep it because it's really good in the van, in Vanessa. Right, and I just want to show you the back because that was a bit of a bonus, how nice the backs turned out. Well, look, it's quite cheery. You don't get the true effect because it's not, I've not got it lying flat out. But I quite like this kind of effect. And I just used an old sheet on the back. So the sheet's been washed loads of times because it's ancient. Interestingly though, all the fabric for the front of the quilt, I didn't pre-wash it. So if you go back to my point at the very beginning of Tea with Fee, when I talked about how important it is to pre-wash things, the reason I didn't pre-wash the fabric for the front of the quilt was my plan was at the beginning was I would just back it with something new as well, and then it would all shrink together because that's a bit of a thing with quilting, and then when it all shrinks together it kind of gets that kind of lumpy bumpy effect. But then I decided that I had this sheet, it was exactly the right colour and it was going to work, so I kind of went with that. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like when it gets washed. So that'll be a bit of a journey that we'll go on together when we find out what happens when it gets washed. But anyway, it's coming along nicely. Thank you, Elaine. Yes, I think it's doing all right. I might try and keep my head down. And I'm at afternoon tea tomorrow, so for anybody that's around, afternoon tea is on tomorrow, 10 till 12. I might bring my cross stitch with me. I'm not sure yet. I need to have a look at it and decide how much I need to concentrate. But I am doing, as you've seen before, I'm doing really well with that, and I'd quite like to get that finished. But if it's too complicated, I'll bring this. But yeah, before I pack it all away, I just got to show you, you know how I love a tin? Well, I have this little L'Occitane tin. I don't even know what was in it. I think it might have been a bar of soap. But look, don't they fit perfectly in there? And then I've got this little tin of mints. It's not got mints in it. Don't be silly. It's got the safety pins I've taken out as I've gone along, my needle threader, and some spare cards, which I don't need now, so I can put them back where they belong. But how cute are they? So, and if anybody else likes a tin, share, because I do like a bit of tin appreciation. And it just fits really nicely in this bag. There's like a zip pocket here at the back, but there's actually also just like a slip-in pocket, which is just the right size for my project book, which needs updated. So that's a note to self. So for homework, I need to update my planner with how I'm getting on. Has anybody else got a planner, and how up to date is it? If you've not got a planner but you like the idea of one, I'll put the link in the comment in the description. You can buy them on Amazon. I've got a few in the shed, so if you're local and you want one, message me. Otherwise, you can buy them on Amazon. So I've got to stick some things into mine. Ooh. Got to get my trusty highlighter out. I've not ticked something off. Let's see. For anybody that's been watching on my Instagram or Facebook page, you might have seen the reel the other day about the works in progress. And the fact that I probably could have finished something in the length of time it took me to work out how to make the reel, which I thought was quite amusing. But I actually found off screen, when I was putting everything away, I actually found another bag with about 4 pairs of socks that need repaired. So they weren't actually on my list of things. So in the inside of my planner, I had my in progress list, my not started list, and then I had a separate list for gift ideas. So I have got a pair of socks to finish, which weren't in the reel. The green jumper was in the reel. The Harmony blanket was in the bag. So the Harmony blanket was finished, but I made it into the coat again. You might have seen that a couple of years ago, but I just never wore it. I didn't like the sleeves, so I decided I was going to make it back into the blanket. And to stop me from changing my mind, I've started unpicking it, so it can't be worn anymore as a coatigan. So it's got to be unpicked. So that was on the list. And a couple of other things. Repair the socks, so they weren't on the list. And what else was on there? There's a blue jumper on my list for in progress. Don't even know what that is. Oh, that's a sewing one. Has anybody else got things on their list that they don't know what they are? Because I'm looking at this thinking I don't even know what it is. Anyway, so we're getting there. We're chipping away at the list. The decision has been made. I'm going to finish my cross stitch. I'm going to finish the quilt, and then I'm going to decide what to start next. I feel like it needs to be something that's in progress. Much as I'm desperate to start the Borg blanket, I think I need to finish the jumper first. So I think that might be next. Although again, it's not a craft afternoon tea project, so I think when I get to that stage, I'll probably take the harmony blanket to craft afternoon tea to unpick there and do the jumper at home where I can concentrate a bit more. Because for anybody that's been to craft afternoon tea, you know how much the ratio of chatting to crafting can vary dramatically. And I have heard quite a lot of people say that they go home and unpick most of what they did whilst they were there because there's a mistake somewhere. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope everybody has had a lovely weekend. I will take some pictures or I'll do a reel of the shed now that it's been rearranged. Feedback is quite positive. Everybody seems to quite like the new layout. I'm just not 100% sure which orientation that the table is going to go in the middle of the room. It works both ways, so I haven't quite settled on where it's going to go, but once I do, I will let you know. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Let's hope that the weather's not too awful. I haven't talked about the the Make It So garden party. So I had a Make It So garden party on Saturday, just gone. I'll tell you about that very briefly. So basically I invited Sew Like a Pro attendees and the members of my online membership group to come to the Make It So garden party. So there were 12 of us in the end, and it was on Saturday, and it was the worst weather you can imagine for a garden party. It did not stop raining, literally, I don't think, from the minute I got up till the minute I went to bed. I'm trying to think. Oh, it might have possibly stopped as I was packing up and like putting everything back in the house at about 6 o'clock, but very briefly. Anyway, it was absolutely bouncing. It was like a swimming pool outside because the grass was so wet. But we had a lovely time. We all had to squeeze into the shed. There was no garden mingling, but it was lovely. So look out for another one. It didn't put me off doing it, but I probably think 12 is the most you can fit in the shed because of the weather. But anyway, so yeah, that was last Saturday. This Saturday, craft afternoon tea, Union Mills Methodist Church, 10 till 12. Bring a craft of your choice and come and say hi. Ashley, if you're watching, I'm not sure if you are, I think you're on the island, so hopefully we'll see you there tomorrow. That would be lovely. And if not, I will see you on Tea with Fee next week at 5 o'clock. I have just, whilst I'm about to go, I've been working on, just before we went live, I was working on this month's blog. So this month's blog is going to be about, I'm telling you this in case so that I can't change my mind. This month's blog is actually going to be following on with my back to basics thing that I've been doing on my Instagram page. It's talking about how to hem things. So this month's blog's about hemming, and at the minute it's just a written blog. There is a possibility between now and the 1st of the month that there might be some video to go with it, but it is the 21st today, so that only gives me like 10 days to make that happen, plus all the other things that need to happen. So that's not a definite, but the written version will definitely be going live on the 1st of August. So if that's something you're interested in, then make sure that you are following or subscribing to my newsletter on my website. And there should be links to on the Facebook pages and stuff when the time comes. But thank you so much for watching. I am going to sign off for now, and I will catch you all next Friday, or I'll see you in person between now and then. Thanks for watching. Bye.